Because every week, you get in a car, you get in a friend's car, you get on the service shuttle, and you go into the city of Richmond, and you connect with individuals, and you work with organizations that face the same reality that you face. Social issues are difficult and they're entrenched. But you guys, we've moved the needle. As a society, we've moved the needle. Positive change has happened. If we look back in our history, even 40 years ago, Richmond City schools were totally segregated. Totally 100% segregated. Okay? 40 years ago, we had health crises that are now solved through human technology. We have started to move the needle. It's just slow, incremental change. So I say we can do this. And the hours that you spend in the community and the time you spend on research and making the connections between those things and going abroad for summer service and looking at an issue abroad and connecting it to what's going on in Richmond matters. It matters greatly. You're doing the work of social change. So now I want to ask you how you can take that work that you're doing with maybe 1 or 2 or 3 other Bonners at your site, how you can take that work and your advocacy and your research and all the service work that you're doing and how it can grow out and you can expand and pull in other people. How can we get the non-Bonners at the University of Richmond to join you? How can we do that? Because I believe we can, and I believe getting your 100 as the heart of this university working for social change, if you multiplied your ranks by bringing in your friends or your roommate or your sorority sister or your club sports team friend, 1 or 2 other people to involve them in this conversation and this work of social change, we could start a real movement. Is this possible? Is this something that we're interested in?
Yes.
All right, well, how are we going to do it? Because I think we can. This is actually a way to, instead of running off the cliff, it's a way to put on a big parachute and just jump, right? So what are we going to do? Because this, for me, and for all of you, and from some of the conversations I've been having with students, this is the next wave of civic engagement at UR. Okay, talking out, do you do that now?
Yeah.
That's great. What are people's reactions when you're, cutting into the hamburger and eating fries, or maybe it's the pie, or maybe it's the pizza, or the Mongolian barbecue, so many choices. How do you start that conversation?
Just talk about what I have to do.
Do you frame it that way?
No.
I have to do my service.
No, I get to say, in an hour I get to go to this place or whatever, and then they ask me what it is, and I tell them all about it, and then they think it's really cool.
Do you ever ask anyone to come with you?
Yeah.
Do they ever say yes?
Yep, last week.
Congratulations, that's great. That's fantastic. Okay, so talk to other people. Hopefully put it in a positive light, right? Talk about marketing strategies. That's great. Other ways to activate other people to join us in this effort for social change. Please.
Bring events on campus, like instead of just going out into Richmond where people can't see what you're doing, like bring things here.
What kind of things?
Like tabling in commons or holding events to educate people about what you're passionate about.
Sure. So we've got all these events on campus, right? You can't even keep track of them. There's a million great events. And I would guarantee that almost every day there is some speaker on campus for some school, department, or the Bonner Center for Civic Engagement that's talking about a social issue that connects with one of your sites or something that you personally care about in the world. Grab a friend, right? Hey, let's go hear this human rights lecture. Hey, let's go hear this brown bag on the city of Richmond and how it's trying to fight poverty. 1 hour, and hey, you get a write-up for some of these, which is great, but that's not why you should do it. But grab a friend, and then I challenge you that after you leave the discussion that you do what honor scholars do so well, that you reflect on what you heard, right? We live in a really transactional society, and this school pace is really fast. You move from one thing to the next thing to the next, right next. You got to stop and have that conversation, even if it's 20 minutes, right? Walking back to your dorm or something else after that talk or after your service, to say, hey, what'd you think about that? How do you feel about that? And the conversation that will ensue is what I think college is all about. It's the conversations that happen in the spaces outside of class with the people that you care about, that you live with, that you eat sports with, that you do service with. Please.
Yeah, which leads to the next point on how you can involve people in it. If you reflect on it with them and show them the things, how your work has impacted you, a lot of people will be able to see your passion, see your hard work, see where how you use your time and how it's consumed maybe in your service, and they want to get involved in what you're doing.
They're going to be inspired by you, right?
Yeah.
You guys are very inspirational. So it's not about guilt. It's you're putting your values into action. And I think when other people see that, if you invite them in D Hall or elsewhere to join you, they're going to want to do that too. What about, oh please, go ahead.
I'm thinking about evolving professors. They're also very interested in, in issues in the same community. Even just within my biochemistry class, biochemistry, but it's now community connected because we have to volunteer in the community, and you would never think, and because if
Yay, John Dattlebaum.
yeah, if you can inspire professors, you can inspire your students, and you can form that relationship between mentors and the student.
Absolutely. I wonder too about, and I want to hear more from the PPAs about this before I go too far in this thinking, but what about taking common social issues that you care about? The environment seems to be a big one on campus right now. There's lots of sustainability effort, and bringing together non-Bonners and faculty who care about these issues too, and starting these kind of groups, these interest groups, because out of that collective energy and synergy and brain power can come action, right? And we also have these weird little silos at Richmond, so we need to kind of cross-pollinate. Kelly.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the overwhelming amount of programming there is on
Too
campus,
much.
and it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. It's difficult to prioritize. It's difficult to get your message across in the mess of everyone else's messages, which are all very equally important in a lot of ways. But I was going to suggest issues-based knowledge and issues-based work, because if we can form coalitions, Refugee Immigration Services is my contact. So if I got with the Multicultural Student Union and the Foreign Languages Department and the International Studies Department, and there was some sort of kind of interested coalition, and we could fundraise for the same projects and make more money and provide more resources. And I think that
Or do some shared research project where you have people who have 10 different discipline strengths coming together to tackle a problem with their different research lens, right? It would be amazing. I like your language of coalition. Building coalitions for change around different issues. I think that's a great idea. And Bonners could lead that. You already are leading it. This is the point. You are already leading change on this campus, which I hope you're psyched about. I'm not seeing a ton of psyched faces right now, which leads me to believe either I'm really boring, which is often true, and both Alicia and Grace can tell you that because they're in my class, or that it is the time of year, and also maybe the time. What's the time, Zach? I'm so aware. Okay, so the point is I'm going to wrap this up because I can see from your faces, but I came tonight with a glad heart to get to spend time with the Bonners because I admire you. I admire your commitment, your 4-year commitment. I admire your willingness to get outside your comfort zone and meet a bunch of people that you might not otherwise meet and to really get to know them. I admire your avid attempts to pull together what you're learning in your classes and in the speakers that you go and hear and what you're doing in the community. And I admire your leadership. So I hope as you're looking to the next half of the semester, right, when you get a moment to pause, and I hope you're all going to pause during your fall break, whatever it is you're doing, that you're going to pause and take a moment. I hope that looking forward to the second half of the semester and forward to the rest of your years at Richmond or post-graduation, that you'll really think about the tools of civic engagement and which one you can pick up, how many, sometimes you pick up a couple at a time, how you can use them and share them with other people in whatever community you live in to move the needle. Because we've got to. It's essential. The world has got to be a better place, and you guys are on the forefront in making that happen. So I commend you. I say go forward and continue, and I'm really grateful for what you're doing for the city of Richmond, for our region, for your hometowns, for wherever you go to do your summer service. And I'm particularly grateful to the Bonner Scholars staff because they have provided excellent leadership to you all. So let's do it. Richmond Revolution. Are we ready? Okay. Let's get together. Let's make it happen. Thank you.